Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Professor Jacobs, whenever you may be watching this or tuning in to my final assignment here. This is my submission for the learning theory that we've been deciding on and thinking about over the course of the 8 weeks in this class, and I decided to choose the constructivism. Yeah, and I think I chose a very simple, very clean style. My bullet points are very short, very limited, but I plan on expanding upon them and making them more than what they just are as presented. They're very short, very simple. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. First slide, meaning and fundamental principles. The meaning of constructivism, essentially, basically stripped down, is one of the, like we said, learning theories to help students learn. People actively construct or make their own knowledge. Reality is determined by experiences. Learners learn what learners use, what they already know to build upon what they will learn. What I kind of connected this to and what helps me remember it is a form of educational Jenga. When you're playing Jenga, you're pulling pieces out of the structure and you're adding on top of it to make it bigger than what it was, stacking up upon what you already know. So when you go from grade to grade, from topic to topic, you're expanding upon what you have known, you're connecting it there to help you remember, and you're creating new knowledge and you're learning from those experiences. The A handful of the fundamental principles that I went ahead and listed here is one, knowledge is built on other knowledge. So, like we said, you pulling that Jenga block out, your former knowledge, you're putting it on top to what you're learning and what is new knowledge. Excuse me. Two, people learn to learn while they are learning, and that helps me remember it. And it's simple and it's silly, but you're learning while you're learning and you're learning how to learn. So if you think of this just as a child, they're learning something new, they're learning what way works best for them, and that's going to help their overall learning experience. Three, learning is an active sensory process. Four, learning comes socially. And five, motivation is key to learning. I feel like these last three go hand in hand, where your senses are up, you're interacting with others, you're interacting with your instructor, your teacher, and the want to learn something will only build upon, it will construct what your new knowledge is going forward. The founder and advocates. I believe the only thing needed was the advocates for this learning theory, but I thought the founder would be a benefit as well for those maybe psych undergrads or psych students or just people involved in psych. They would appreciate who the founder or founders are. So mainly, what I took away from my research is that Jean Piaget was the head of the snake, the founder, with his notion that learning is individually constructed. However, there were also others that were involved, and Vygotsky was right there behind him, to be his support, and he played a key role in making this student-centered and active learning theory influential today. And a big reason why I chose this learning theory was because I love the trend that education is taking. I guess college, at least when I was in college, it was already a thing. So to see it happen more in grade school through high school, it's to see that the student was always the center, they were always the focus, but to see now that teachers and peers and all involved to benefit the student are interacting to benefit them and making the learning around them instead of just the teacher at the front and the kids try to retain whatever they can. Now we're looking for the student centered approach that they tell us, hey, this works for me, hey, this doesn't work for me. And that's a big reason why I chose this learning theory and why I'm just happy for it going forward. And as we continue, the activists, advocates, I'm sorry, are the constructivist teachers that pose questions and problems. They're not giving you everything you need. Then they guide students to help them find their own answers. They use many techniques in the teaching process. They're not telling you what you should do. They're telling you, hey, how about this? To get the student thinking about, oh, maybe it can lead to this. We're not deliberately saying this will get you here. This will help you get to here, which can help you get to there, which will eventually lead you and yourself, the learner, down the rabbit hole to find it, because we learn off of experience a lot more than just here's the answer, memorize it, try to keep it in your mind. And some of those techniques, as we just talked about, is prompting students to formulate their own questions to help them learn how to inquire, what questions they can ask going forward that will benefit them, um, and just learning to ask better questions over just general questions. Teachers will allow multiple interpretations and expressions of learning, uh, or multiple intelligences. You can look at things from different lenses, from different points of view to help you get to where you need to go. And another one is they encourage a group work and the use of peers as resources or collaborative working. So they will open that up for students just in general to collaborate. They can collaborate, teachers and students, which I feel is great. It gives students a voice, and it's uh, it's we're catering to them, which is how I believe it always should have been. But education is constantly evolving, and to see it evolve in this manner is great. Constructivism in the classroom. And for this slide, I just wanted to share, students are not blank slates upon which knowledge is etched. They come to learning situations with already, some formulated background knowledge, ideas, and understandings that they came with them, that original Jenga structure. And this previous knowledge is the raw material for the new knowledge that they will create, that they will pull that Jenga block out and put it on top to what they're creating and what's forming now. The student is the person who creates new understanding for themselves. The teacher coaches, moderates, suggests, but allows the student room and an area to grow and experiment, to ask questions, to try things that work and things that don't work. Michael Jordan said it best. He succeeded so much because he failed, and if we allow our students to fail and learn, that's a great way to learn as well. Learning activities require the students' full participation, getting their feet wet, getting their hands on in experiments and learning, and all things that will keep their attention span longer than just hoping that they pay attention and focus. An important part of the learning process is that students reflect, they talk about their activities. Students also help set their own goals as means of assessment. The constructivist classroom relies heavily on collaboration amongst peers, also with teachers. There are many reasons why collaboration contributes to learning. And I feel that the main reason is it is used so much in constructivism is because students learn about learning, as we mentioned earlier, not only from themselves but also from peers. And I forget the saying, but you learn while you teach something, and when you're teaching, you're also learning. I don't know if I said that right, but when I'm telling somebody something and they catch something that I may have missed, I'm learning in that aspect. Also, if I teach and I just continue to hone in on it, figure it out, find better ways to teach it, simplify it, that enhances the teacher, whatever you're teaching. And when students review and reflect on their learning processes together, they can pick up strategies and methods from one another. So, like I just said, if you're learning from one another, you're growing together, you're going to find things that work and that help you best learn, and to teach others that if this worked for me, it can work for you. And the last slide, how this personal learning theory supports my personal philosophy on education. Um, my personal education philosophy follows these two verses right here. One that we talked about during the course of this course, and I believe it's applicable to all things in life. Um, and the first verse that I want to share is 1 Corinthians 16:14. Just do everything in love. And especially nowadays, it's crazy in the world and society we're living in, where there's not a lot of love being shared. And if you do so, people can feel it, people will appreciate it. And if I'm teaching in love, if I'm learning in love, if I'm collaborating in love, only good things are going to come of that. Um, so yeah, that's the first verse. The second verse is Hebrews 6:12. This is the one part of uh, one that we talked about during one of our discussions, and this verse in particular, verse 12, says, "We do not want you to become lazy, but to imitate those who through faith and patience inherit what has been promised." And I feel like if you do things with love, if you do things with good energy, you don't allow yourself to be complacent and be happy with your situation. If you keep working towards things, what's promised to you will come to you, and it will come to you. I want to say faster, especially if you're continuing and pursuing something. And with these two verses in mind, I just plan to be the best example possible so that students work hard and do so gracefully and with love. In the constructivist sense, these can be built upon to whatever it is they are learning, and can learn to continue to apply their best efforts and be a gracious learner and a gracious teacher. At the same time, if we offer this in the holistic sense as well, they can apply these two verses. You know, just doing things in love is only going to benefit yourself and everyone. Um, and if you work hard and don't become lazy in anything that you do, you want to be a mechanic, you want to go out, shoot a basketball, play soccer with friends, you listen to music, whatever, make music, whatever it is. If you do so with love, if you do so uh, with intention and focus, I feel that anything that you're learning or doing will come back to you um, with things that are promised to you. You'll get out whatever you're putting in. And that's it. I got my references here, and just thank you so much, Professor, for a great semester. I'm not sure if this is our last assignment or not, but just thank you so much.